Pain terrifies most people. The moment life becomes difficult, they run, they escape into comfort, distraction, excuses. But history remembers a different kind of man, a man who woke up every morning knowing he might die before sunset, a man forced to fight not for glory but for survival, the gladiator. He was not born powerful. He was broken into power. Every scar taught discipline. Every battle destroyed weakness. Every moment of suffering forced him to control fear, because inside the arena, emotion meant death. Panic meant death. Hesitation meant death. Only control survived. And maybe that is why the modern world fears suffering so much, because suffering exposes the truth about people. It reveals who breaks and who becomes stronger. The gladiator understood something most people never will. Pain can destroy you or transform you. Welcome to Warrior Legacy. Tonight, you enter the arena. Ancient Rome was obsessed with power. Massive armies, massive empires, massive spectacles of violence, and at the center of it all stood the gladiator. Crowds screamed his name. Thousands watched him fight, but behind the arena, behind the noise, was a brutal reality. Most gladiators were slaves, prisoners, captured soldiers, broken men forced into combat. They did not choose this life. It was forced upon them. And yet, inside unimaginable suffering, many of them discovered something powerful: discipline. Because when survival becomes uncertain, weakness disappears quickly. The gladiator could not afford emotional chaos. Inside the arena, fear had to be controlled immediately. One mistake, one hesitation, one emotional reaction, and death arrived instantly. That pressure transformed people. Modern society avoids pressure constantly. People run from discomfort, run from pain, run from struggle. But the gladiator lived inside struggle daily, and struggle changed him. Every morning began with brutal training, heavy armor, wooden weapons, endless repetition, again and again and again, because repetition creates instinct, and instinct keeps warriors alive. The gladiators trained so hard that real combat eventually felt natural. This is what modern people misunderstand about confidence. Confidence is not positive thinking. Confidence is preparation. The gladiator trusted his training because he suffered through it repeatedly. Pain became familiar, and familiar pain becomes easier to control. This is why suffering matters. Suffering reveals limits, then discipline destroys those limits slowly. The arena was more than a battlefield. It was psychological warfare. The crowd wanted entertainment, blood, chaos. But the greatest gladiators stayed calm emotionally, because emotional control creates survival under pressure. Imagine standing before thousands of screaming people, knowing only one man walks away alive. Most minds would collapse under that fear. Today, a negative comment ruins someone's day. A little criticism destroys confidence. A little discomfort creates emotional breakdowns. But the gladiator understood a brutal truth. The world does not become easier. You become stronger. That is the purpose of suffering. Not punishment, transformation. The gladiator learned to stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, he asked, "What is this pain teaching me?" That mindset changes everything, because suffering can either create bitterness or resilience, and resilience is one of the rarest forms of power today. Modern society teaches comfort constantly, fast entertainment, easy pleasure, instant gratification. Everything encourages weakness. But the arena rewarded discipline only. No excuses survived there. No victim mentality survived there. Only preparation. Focus. Execution. That is why gladiators became mentally dangerous. Not because they enjoyed violence, but because they became emotionally disciplined through pain. Every battle strengthened emotional control. Every scar reminded them that survival belonged to disciplined people. This is why ancient warriors viewed suffering differently. They did not worship comfort. They respected hardship, because hardship builds endurance. Endurance builds discipline, and discipline creates power. Most people today want success without suffering first, but history never worked that way. The strongest people are usually shaped through pain, not comfort. Comfort creates softness. Suffering creates awareness. Inside pain, people discover who they really are. The gladiator discovered courage inside fear, discipline inside exhaustion, control inside chaos, and eventually, the man who entered the arena as a slave became mentally stronger than the crowd watching him. That is the hidden lesson of the gladiator. External chains matter less than internal weakness, because a weak mind stays imprisoned forever. But disciplined minds become free. Even inside suffering, the gladiator understood something terrifying. Fear never disappears completely. You simply learn to move despite it. That is real courage, not the absence of fear. Control over fear. This is why disciplined people often appear calmer under pressure. They train themselves through discomfort repeatedly. The modern world avoids discomfort constantly, and that avoidance creates fragility. People become emotionally weak because they never train resilience. The gladiator had no choice. Resilience was survival. This is why the arena created transformation. Pain forced growth. Pressure forced discipline. And discipline forced evolution. The same principle still exists today. Your arena simply looks different. Bills, stress, failure, loneliness. Distraction. Modern people still fight battles daily. But most of those battles are internal now. Mental weakness, emotional addiction, fear of failure. Fear of discomfort, and every day life asks the same question: will you break under pressure or become stronger through it? Because pressure reveals identity. When life becomes painful, your true mindset appears immediately. The gladiator mindset is not about violence. It is about endurance. The ability to continue when emotions want to quit. The ability to remain calm when fear attacks your mind. The ability to suffer without losing discipline. That is rare power. And rare power creates extraordinary people. Most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid pain, but the gladiator teaches the opposite lesson. Controlled suffering creates strength, not meaningless suffering. Purposeful suffering. The kind that builds resilience, focus, patience, mental toughness. Because comfort never forged warriors. Pressure did. This is why the arena still fascinates humanity today. Deep down, people admire resilience. They admire people who refuse to break under pressure, because modern life secretly destroys endurance. Distraction weakens focus. Comfort weakens discipline. Easy pleasure weakens ambition. The gladiator would see modern society as mentally soft, too reactive, too emotional, too addicted to comfort. And maybe he would ask a dangerous question. If ancient men survived the arena, why do modern people collapse under discomfort so easily? That question matters, because your future depends heavily on your relationship with suffering. If pain controls you, life controls you. But if discipline controls you, pain becomes fuel. That is the transformation, that is the lesson of the arena. And that is why the gladiator remains eternal. not because he fought others. If this lesson awakens something inside you, then stop running from discomfort. Start building strength through struggle. Subscribe to Warrior Legacy and join the warriors forging discipline through suffering. Comment below, pain builds power. Like this video if you are ready to become stronger mentally. And remember this carefully: comfort weakens, pressure reveals, discipline transforms.